ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनी व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम् Acharya Shankara is elaborating in the current verses on the value of Vairagyam as very important, without which there is no moksha praptihi. Despite being a great Pandit with a lot of Shastra Jnanam and Pandityam. Yeah. So Vairagyam, we saw Vairagyam Atyanta Akhila Anitya Vastushu. What is Vairagyam? Vairagyam is a healthy relationship with the world, which includes my body, mind, life, home, everything. So a healthy approach is an objective approach, a life of emotional independence. Now, what happens when it is not there? We know very well. There is emotional dependence, no? Paravasham hi dukkham. So when there is dependence, like we see how much enslavement can happen, one is imprisoned and addicted to a habit, it can be, or if one is very much caught up with the body, infatuated, then the body is a moha aspadam. It is a locus of moha. Then through the body, one can be attached to possessions. Look at the attachment to the mobile phone, and through the mobile phones to, the whole virtual reality. Then there are attachment to people, possessions, mama graham, mama putraha, mama putri, mama vahanam, my pets, my staff, then attachment to a role. Now, but I can perform this so well, role playing. Then there can be attachment to an ideology also, a thought in the mind or even a memory. One is attached to memories of our life. So, in the event of all these attachments, Shastra says we are like the silkworm. The silkworm weaves a cocoon around it, does not know that that cocoon itself will be the cause for its destruction. So, Shastra says these mudhaha are the avivekis who are baddhaha, bound. Bound like, the kurangaha, matangaha, patangaha, minaha, and the bringa. Each one was attached to one sense organ and which became the cause of its destruction. And so Krishna has also said in the Gita, Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipaschitaha indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham manaha. So when there is no mastery, restraint over the mind and the sense organs, then the sense organs will hijack the mind just as a boat is capsized on stormy waters. The turbulent senses. So what is the fate of such baddhaha, mudhaha? Acharya says they will what? Ayanti niryanti, samsara chakre. They will constantly arrive and depart and go round and round in the samsara chakra, traveling to lokas, then punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. That would be their fate. So, you see this phenomenon of being trapped. Trapped is really that bondage is in one's own mind. You would have heard of the story of that monkey trap. Here, what do you see? You see a jar of peanuts. You know the story maybe? So the monkey's hand goes in, yeah, to grab the peanuts. And once it has grabbed the peanuts, the hand has become a fist and it is not possible to come out of the jar. So what has the monkey got to do? Simply let go. Let go and be released. So this shows, how just like the monkeys, we are also hanging on, being attached to the whatever anatma entities are there. And so how to be released from that is to study the Viveka Chudamani. That is why Viveka is the crest jewel of discrimination. So to discriminate between Satyam and Mithya, how to let go is constant Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam will improve all the qualifications, sadhana chatushtayam for a mumukshu. And then also to do dosha darshanam. Dosha darshanam is to see the defects when I chase or pursue finite temporary pleasures which give me some vishyananda, some ananda briefly, and then I am back in the chase. And Krishna has said, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grahyate. Manaha grahyate. The mind can be mastered by repeated abhyasa. Repeated abhyasa and vairagyam. Healthy distancing and having an objective approach to the world, which includes my body, mind, senses. So this mumukshu wears the mantle, a kavacham of vairagyam. Vairagyam in the sense that even though there are unpredictable, challenging situations in life, I am protected because of my vairagyam. So you see, the beautiful youth, they are afraid that the rupam will be robbed away. Then the wealthy person is afraid that the wealth will be robbed away. Then the educationalist, one who is highly, has a high status, will have fear of losing the status or losing the kolam. And so that shows wherever there is attachment, there is bound to be the fear of loss. And so Acharya repeatedly shows us the value of Vairagyam. And then we also saw the description of the Sthula Shariram, the gross body. How the gross body is formed and supported by the Saptadhatus, Majja, Asthi, Pala, Rakta, and so on. Twak, Charma, Meda, fat, all these, plus all the limbs, and how the Sthula Shariram can become a Moha Aspadam. Now, Moha Aspadam, when one is too caught up in this Anatma, body, mind, sense complex, instead of viewing it as an intelligent Karya Karana Sangraha, as an aggregate of Karanas intelligently put together to fulfill the Chaturvidhaha Purusharthas. So basically, the mastery over the mind and sense organs is talked about, and this is the real meaning of Dashera. Dashamukha Ravanaha is Hataha, Haraha, the one who conquers the, this Dashamukha Ravana is a true, mumukshu. So this is what we have been saying. And also Acharya said that this Vairagyam, if it is temporary, again, our pursuit will be nishphala, fruitless. So what is a permanent Vairagyam? That which is born of Viveka. Viveka, what is Viveka? Nitya, Anitya, Vastu Vivekaha. One who can discriminate between the ephemeral and the permanent. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. Now, in the next verse, 80 onwards, Acharya is going to show us and talk about the Shastra. What is the weapon by which we are going to attack this Moha and Raga Pashas? Only the Asanga Shastrena, Dridena Chitva, the acts of detachment. And let's go to the 80th verse. Vishayakhyagraho yena suviraktyasina hataha. Vishayakhyagraho yena suviraktyasina hataha. सगच्छति भवाम्भोदेः सगच्छति भवाम्भोदेः पारं प्रत्यूहवर्जितः पारं प्रत्यूहवर्जितः विषय आख्य ग्रहः येन सुविरक्ति असिना हतः सः गच्छति भवां भोदेः पारं प्रत्यूह वर्जितः. Now, Acharya is talking about this Viveki, this Dhira Purushaha. This Dhira Purushaha has an axe. Asi. Asi means an axe. What kind of axe? Suvirakti Asi. Virakti. Virakti is Vairagya. And Su is Atyanta Vairagyam. Vairagyam which covers everything with respect to the whole world. Suvirakti Vairagyam. And by which he cuts what? Vishaya Akhya Graha. Now, Graha, or it should be Graha, I think. Graha is the crocodile. So, the crocodile like Vishaya Sukham, sense object, Yena Hataha, by whom this crocodile and shark like Vishaya Sukham is Hataha, destroyed by Suvirakti Asina, Tritiya, by the sword of detachment. Remember, Krishna has also talked about it in chapter 15. How to fell the samsara vrikshaha in the mind? Asanga shastrena dhidena chitva. The acts of detachment. Then what will happen? Saha gachati param. Will cross over to the other shore of Bhavam Bodhehe. Bhavam Bodhehe is Samsara Sagaram. Will cross over this ocean of delusion, worldly existence, Param, and how? Pratyuha Varjitaha. Pratyuha Varjitaha means without difficulties, without obstacles. Initially crossing over to the Moksha Marga will involve some difficulty, some strain and effort. But Krishna has said in the Gita also, for one who is on the Moksha Marga as a Karma Yogi or a Mumukshu, one who is a Nishkama Bhakta, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. I will see that all the difficulties are removed from the path. I will take care of yoga, whatever the Mumukshu needs, and I will also protect it. Kshema will also be there. Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. And here on this verse, the great Sringeri Swamigal Chandrasekhara Swamiji, who has written an elaborate commentary, comments that if this Vairagyam is not cultivated, lifelong, then what will happen at the Antakala? At the Antakala, the mind will be very turbulent, will be calculating how many assets are left, what are the liabilities, what are the debts and the loans. And it is like a frog. Frog is caught by a snake. But before the snake can swallow the frog sees an insect. And the frog stretches the tongue out to catch the insect. So, that how the power of Vishaya does not leave and has the crocodile-like grip on the mind is shown here. So, unless one has a strong mumukshutvam and, atmakripa, prayatnam, then it will not be there. The freedom will not be there. Vishayakyagraho yena suviraktyasina hataha sagacchati bhavam bodhehe param pratyuhavarchitaha. 81 is also continuing in the same tune, and Vishama Vishaya Margai Gacchato Nacha Buddhehe. Vishama Vishaya Margai Gacchato Nacha Buddhehe. Pratipadamabhigyato mrityurapyesha vidhi. Pratipa. Again the meter confusion. Vishama Vishaya Margai Gacchato Nacha Buddhehe. Pratipadamabhi Ghato Mrityurapyesha Vidhi. हितसुजनगुरुक्त्या गच्छत स्वस्य युक्त्या प्रभवति फलसिद्धि satyamityeva vidhi. Sometimes there are differences in the words. No, the second line, pratipadam abhiyato, sometimes it is abhighato. Okay, we will take pratipadam abhighataha. So, vishama vishaya margaihi gacchataha anachcha buddhehe pratipadam abhighataha mrityuhu api eshaha vidhi. हित सुजन गुरु उक्त्या गच्छतः स्वस्य युक्त्या प्रभवति फलसिद्धिः सत्यम् इति एव विद्धि. So now Acharya says no, vidhi has come twice. Now there is the word gacchataha. Gacchataha is Shatra Pratyaya for the one who is going, for the one who is traveling. Traveling on what path? Vishaya, Vishama, Vishaya, Margam. So, we have seen earlier how this Vishayananda Marga is so poisonous, it's deadlier than the cobra poison, earlier Acharya said. So, Vishama, Vishaya, Marge, Gacchataha. For the one who is on this Pravritti Marga, on the Marga of sense pleasure and enjoyment, then what kind of buddhi it is? Anachcha buddhi. Now remember in acha in Hindi, we all know it's a very common word, all multi-purpose word. Acha means okay, done, just very casual word. Acha, but really it is a Sanskritam word. Acha means pure. And anacha means impure. So, for the one who is chasing sense pleasures, what kind of buddhi is there? Contaminated anacha buddhi. So, anacha buddhehe gacchataha. So, for this, artha kami, the one who is chasing artha and kama has a anacha buddhi. What will happen? Pratipadam abhighataha mrityuhu. Every kshanam, every moment, such a person will be confronted with conflict, fear, worry, because despite all the planning and all executing plans, then there is no guarantee. So, pratipadam abhighataha mrityuhu. So, Acharya says, the mrityu will face this person at every moment because one is attached to anitya, anatma vastus. Now, what is mrityu? Mrityu means mortality, that which changes, declines, and perishes. So, pursuing such anitya vastus is equivalent to mrityu, Acharya says here. So, all the Vishya Sukham, chasing Shabdadeha, enjoyments, such a person, at every step there is obstacles. Abhighataha. Abhighataha means obstacles will be there. He will face mrityu, and mrityu is nothing other than ajnanam. Elsewhere, Shastra says ajnanam eva mrityuhu. That is ignorance. Ignorance is equivalent to mrityu. So that's the first line. Then the second line presents a contrast. But on the other hand, hita sujana guru uktya gacchataha. For the one who is on the moksha marga and following the upadesha given by the guru. And who is the guru? Hita sujana guru. The guru is the one who is always contemplating on the shishya hitaya. Shishya hitaya yaha tatparaha saha guruhu. Shankaracharya's Prashnottara Malika, we saw this. A guru is one who is always desiring the welfare of the Shishya. So, such a hita sujana guruhu uktya, by the words and upadesha of such a guru, gacchataha, the one who is on this marga as a mukshu, as a Shishya. And what else? Vasya yuktya. Yuktya is by logic. So the Shishya has drawn the Guru's grace, no doubt, but is also doing Atma Prayatnam by one's own logic, applying the tools, doing Mananam, Shravanam, Nididhyasnam consistently and systematically. Then what will be there? No obstacles, no fear, but phalasiddhihi prabhavati. There will be success at every step. And this is an assurance. Acharya says, Satyam iti eva vidhi. Know this to be Satyam, guaranteed. And Krishna has said this in the Gita also. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. The one who has reversed the samsara trend in the mind and started on karma yoga, then bhakti, ishwararpanam, prasada buddhi, then shravana manana nididhyasnam. There can be no obstacles, no fear of mortality, and that is explained in this second line. Hita sujana guruhu uktya gacchataha swasya yuktya. Then phalasiddhi will definitely be there. That is this shloka number 81. Vishama vishayamargai gacchato Nachcha buddhehe pratipadam abhiyato mrityurapyesha vidhi hita sujana guruktya gacchata swasya yuktya prabhavati phalasiddhi satyamityeva vidhi. So the Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa, Ishvara Kripa protects the one who has Atma Kripa. Now let's go to 82nd shloka. Mokshasya kangsha yadi vaitavasti tyajati durad vishayan visham yatha piyushavattoshadayakshamarjava prashantidantir bhaja nityamadarat. Mokshasya kangsha yadi vaitavasti त्यजाति दूराद् विषयान् विषं यथा पीयूषवत्तोषदयाक्षमार्जव प्रशान्तिदान्तिर्भज नित्यमादरात्. मोक्षस्य काङ्क्षा यदि वै तव अस्ति त्यज अतिदूरात् विषयान् विषं यथा पीयूषवत् तोष दया क्षमा आर्जव प्रशांति दान्तिः भज nityam adarat. Very beautiful shloka here. And here Acharya says, Mokshasya kangsha yadi vai tava asti. Acharya says, if you have akanksha, if you have a desire for moksha, yeah, then tyaja, give up what? Give up and distance yourself. Keep all this ati durat. Keep them all very far away. Keep what very far away? Vishayan, the sense objects. The sense objects which are like visham. Vishaya visham. Ati durat tyaja. You keep them at a safe distance. Now, Puja Swamiji will say, if there is a temptation in the mind, then you avoid it the first time. And later on, you can continue. So that is the caution given here. The first time, when we are careful, then it will not leave behind a strong samskara, like we see coffee, tea, alcohol, smoking. And then there are all these in the society, they are encouraged at places. At airport, we have a special smoking room. Then at pubs and bars, there is what is called happy hour. So to encourage Vishayananda, from 5 to 6 p.m., you can drink as much as you want and enjoy the Vishayananda. So Acharya is cautioning that may one practice the restraint of the sense organs and tyaja ati durat vishayan visham yatha. Keep them at a far away if you have a value for moksha. That is very important. So mukshutvam will be very careful about the lifestyle. Then Piyushavat. Piyusha means Amritatvam. So the Vishyananda is like poison. Then what is Amritam? Nectarine. That is those values. Tosha, Daya, Kshama, Arjava, Prashanti, Dantihi. These are all echoing chapter 16. Daivi Sampat. Tosha is contentment, Kshama, compassion, then Daya. Daya is compassion, Kshama, forbearance, forgiving, Arjavam, straightforwardness, Prashanti, peace, and Danti is Dama. So Shamadamadi Shatka Sampatihi or the Daivi Sampat. May one what? Bhaja. Bhaja means to cultivate. To cultivate all these values and attitudes. Adarat, Nityam Adarat, always with respect. Adar se karna hai. Adarat, with respect, with great reverence. May one cultivate the Daivi Sampat and keep the Vishaya Visham at a safe distance away. Mokshasya kangsha yadi vaitavasti त्यजाति दूराद् विषयान् विषं यथा पीयूषवत्तोषदयाक्षमार्जव प्रशान्ति दान्तिर्भज नित्यमादरात्. Nityam is so important there. No, Nityam is that constant awareness and alertness is so important. We have seen in the Puranas describe how one moment that one is slack, not alert, there is pramada, then one can fall from the pursuit. Like in America, when you're driving on the highway, if you miss one exit, the proper exit, then we know how one has to keep on looping to come back to the main track again. So that is why Acharya says, Nityam Adarat Bhaja. So, may one be surrounded by satsanga, may one be consistent and systematic with Shravana, Manana, Vididhyasnam, have the spiritual routine. That's the idea. Now, 84, Acharya continues. 83, sorry. Again, Acharya is going to come back to the Deha, to the Sthula Shariram, which is our closest Anatma. Sharira Poshanarthi San, Sharira Poshanarthi San, Ya Atmanam Didrikshati, Ya Atmanam Didrikshati, Graham Darudhiya Dritva, Graham Darudhiya Dritva, Nadi Tattum Sagachati, Nadi Tattum Sagachati, Sharira Poshanarthi San, Ya Atmanam Didrikshati, Graham Darudhiya Dritva, Nadi Tattum Sagachati. Acharya seems to be very fond of the Graha metaphor. Graha metaphor is the crocodile or shark. See, in Acharya's life, you all know the story, how the mother did not allow Shankaracharya to take sannyasa, being the only son. And how by the power of Maya, suddenly a crocodile appears and, catches hold of Shankara. And then he takes apat sannyasa, a sannyasa which is taken when the life is at threat, and pronounces the mantras. And then mysteriously, the graha also disappears. So here also we are seeing the graha metaphor is for Vishaya, the sense object that will catch the jiva by the throat and submerge in the ocean of samsara is this crocodile-like, raga pasha. So here what does Acharya say? Anukshanam, let's chant it first. No, we have to do 83, no? Yeah. Anukshanam yat parihritya krityam anadya vidyakrita bandha mokshanam deha parartho yama mushya poshane yas sajjate sa swamanena hanti. Anukshanam yat parihritya krityam अनाद्य विद्याकृत बन्धमोक्षणम् देहः परार्थोऽयममुष्य पोषणे यः सज्जते स स्वमनेन हन्ते अनुक्षणम् every moment यत् परिहृत्य कृत्यम् अनादि अविद्याकृत बन्धमोक्षणम् देहः परार्थः अयम् अमुष्य पोषणे यः सज्जते सः स्वम् अनेन हन्ति. Easy shlokas here. Here. So again, Acharya says that parihritya, that is every moment discarding. Parihritya means giving up, discarding what? Anadi avidya krita bandhanam. Discarding that I notion. And we see when we wake up from deep sleep, what is the first thing that returns in the mind? The I notion. And the I will again, collect the me, the mine, and our whole life returns and we are back in the waking state. So Acharya is saying that, challenge or give up this I notion, deha abhimana, which is anadi avidya krita bandhanam. So the I notion is the I notion in the body, anitya vastu body is the avidya krita bandhanam, is the bondage, deha abhimana. Parihritya kritam, having discarded that, then there will be mokshanam. Now mokshanam is release from the bondage. Now what is the bondage due to? Avidya. And when did this avidya happen? In which birth did I forget my true nature and got caught up in the anitya vastus? Anadi. Ignorance is beginningless. I do not know my first birth. So in our Sanatana Dharma, that's why it is called Sanatana, everything is cyclic. Srishti is cyclic, jivas are going round and round. There is no point of origin. Anadi is also cyclic. But fortunately, there is Antaha. For this Mumukshuhu, Halasiddhihi. Antaha is when the samsara chakram stops and by gaining the self-knowledge. So, Anadi Avidya Krita Bandha Mokshanam happens when one, is on this Moksha Marga and destroys that avidya by knowledge. Then the second line says Dehaha. Now this Dehaha, is one the owner of the Deha? Certainly not. Did I put together all the internal organs and covered them all up with the skin? No. It is a gift of Ishvara, and at best I am a managing trustee of the Deha. Then for what purpose is the Deha there? Pararthaha. In the shloka it says, Dehaha, ayam Dehaha, Pararthaha is for somebody else. You are not the Deha. We are the Dehi, Shariri, the one who is indwelling, the tenant in this Deha, house like Deha. Or the one who wears the costume like Deha, the wearer of the costume. The one who is going to live, Navadvare Pure Dehi. That is the Jiva. So the Shariri. So Amushya Poshane, Acharya continues and says, Amushya Poshane means to continue to, to pamper and to take care of the body beyond a certain point. Beyond a certain point, Poshane, Yaha Sajjate, the one who is caught up in the body and the one who is active in only body-centered activities. To feed the body and what pleasures can I enjoy through the body, what finite things I can acquire through the body. The one who does that, Saha Sajjate, what happens to that? Saha Swam Anena Hanti. Hanti means destroys. Destroys whom? Himself. So this is called Atmanam Hanti. Suicide. The one who has not understood the purpose of the body. but one is attached to the body and committed only to the body. Through the body, what all I can gain? And the one who's sajjate, one who's such attached and deluded, swam anena hanti. Through the infatuation and attachment, such a one is deluded and perishes. So again, a strong note on vairagyam here. Anukshanam yat parihritya krityam anadya vidyakrita bandhamokshanam deha pararthoyam amushya poshane yas sajjate sasvamanena hanti. Now, next 84. We already chanted 84. Sharira poshanarthi san ya atmanam didrikshati graham darudhiya dhritva naditartum sagachati. Sharira poshanarthi san yaha atmanam didrikshati graham darudhiya dhritva naditartum sagachati. So the graha is a constant metaphor in Viveka Chudamani, looks like it, the crocodile. Sharira poshanarthi. Poshanam is to nourish. So the one who is desirous of nourishing the body. Now, have you noticed the body shops all over the world in airports, how they are offering to either brighten the skin or to tan the skin or to rejuvenate the skin, to make it look beautiful. So, Sharira Poshanarthi is the one who is only engaged in Shariram. How to, beautify and nourish the body. Sharira Poshanarthi san yaha atmanan didrikshati. But if one, wants simultaneously what didrikshati means, desiring Atma Jnanam. Both. Is it possible? That is shown by the metaphor of the graha. Now, you all know this metaphor. The person who wants to cross a river, he sees a log of wood in the river and he grabs the log of wood and thinks he will float safely to a safe place, to the other shore. But what is the wood really? Wood is the crocodile, graha. So the graha on the surface appears like a log of wood. So mistaking the crocodile for the log of wood, can one hope to cross the river? Definitely not. That is the second line. Graham daru diya. Now this daru is not Hindi daru, but Sanskritam daru means wood. So daru dhi means the one whose understanding is it is a daru, wood. So by that, daru dhiya graham dhritva. One has grabbed the crocodile, mistaking it to be daru, wood. Then nadim tartum sagachati and hopes to cross the river. How is it possible? So here the message is obviously that, if there are attachments to anitya vastus, then moksha prapti is not possible. That is the plain message here. Sharira poshanarthi san ya atmanam didrikshati graham darudhiya dhritva naditartum sagachati. Now let's come to 85. मोह एव महामृत्युः मुमुक्षोर् वपुरादिषु मोह एव महामृत्युः मुमुक्षोर् वपुरादिषु मोहो विनिर्जितो येन समुक्तिपदमर्हति मोहो विनिर्जितो येन समुक्तिपदमर्हति. So now Shastra says what, talking about moha. Mohaha eva mahamrityuho mumukshoho vapuhu adishu vapuradishu. Mohaha vinirjitaha yena saha mukti padam arhati. So simple meaning here that what is moha really? Remember Bhajagovindam? Another title is Moha Mudgaraha, and the hammer that is going to hammer away the delusion. So moha is aviveka, delusion. So what is the moha here? Moha is compared to mahamrityuhu. Mahamrityuhu, for whom? For the mumukshu. Mumukshoho mohaha eva mahamrityuhu. It is truly death. And what is mahamrityuhu? Ajnanam. Only when we are awakened to the reality of Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, do we really live, is the idea here. But if we are blind and sleeping, the sleep of ignorance, then it is Mahamrityuhu. So moha eva Mahamrityuhu mumukshoho. And this moha is with respect to what? Vapuradishu. Vapuhu is Shariram. So many words, Shariram, Dehaha, Vapuhu, all these. Adi Padartha. Adi Padartha is, we have to examine our lives. I'm attached to the phone, to my staff, to my pets, to my garden and vehicles and car, mobile and home. So many things it can be there. The attachment one has to examine. There is nothing wrong in possessing. So we all possess a few things, but we own none of them. So when that understanding is clear, then one is clear, free from moha. So especially in the family, in the family, there can be a strong sense of emotional dependence. Initially, children also, they need a fence-like protection, like a plant. But when they are grown up, so we have to learn to detach, because every jiva has their own papa punyam prarabdham, which will take them to places here and there. And one has to struggle, and through kicks and blows, one has to make mistakes and learn and grow and evolve. That's the idea here. So we cannot force anyone. Yeah, we can only change ourselves and examine, do I want to be emotionally independent as age advances? Yes. Yeah. So emotionally independence is Atmanirbharata. Atmaneva Atmana Tushtaha. I may be physically dependent on many things, but emotionally, I do not want to stay dependent. So that is the Moha Shastra is talking about. If that Moha is there, Mahamrityuhu, for a mumukshu, with respect to all these things. But Mohaha Vinirjitaha Yena, by one who has mastered this Moha, through all these that we've seen in the Gita, Doshadarshana, Shravanamanana, Nidityasanam, and Viveka Vichara, Saha Mukti Padam Arhati. Such a one deserves Mukti Padam, is truly fit for Moksha Prapti. That is the shloka here. Moha eva mahamrityuhu mumukshorvapuradishu moho vinirchito yena samukti padam arhati. 86. Moham jahi mahamrityum dehadarasutadishu yam jitva munayo yanti tadvishno paramam padam. Moham jahi mahamrityum dehadarasutadishu yam jitva munayo yanti tadvishno paramam padam. So the one who has conquered moha is fit for moksha. So moham jahi. Jahi is the lot lakara here. You destroy, says Acharya. Destroy what? Moham, which is mahamrityu, which is like this death. Deha dara suta dishu. Yam jitva munayaha yanti tat vishnoho paramam padam. Same idea here. Yeah? That is, the moha is attachment, and some cases infatuation. We have seen in the Gita how this putra moha for the blind king Dhritarashtra led to the consequences of a war. And at the end, just a handful of survivors. So blinded by attachment, putra moha can be so very strong. So here, that moham, Shastra says, jahi, you conquer. In steps, in stages, mahamrityum. Moha with respect to deha first. Then Dara. Daraha is a Sanskrit word for Patni. There are various words for Patni, like Kalatram means spouse. Daraha is a Nitya Bahuvachanam, plural, but it means wife. Then Patnihi. So, and the reverse, the other way around also. For a female, also Patihi. The moha with respect to Deha and spouse and Sutta. Sutta is Putraha, to children and grandchildren. And then Adi Padartha. Adi Padartha, you include all the other Anitya Vastus. And the moha with respect to all of them, Jahi. You, you don't throw them, you don't neglect or discard them. But it is talking about the emotional maturity to examine, how much is a degree of independence for me? That is only by Viveka. So, Dehadara Sutadishu Moham Jahi. Then Yam Jitva, and having won over the Moha, the Graha called Moha, what? Munayaha. Munayaha Yanti. The great sages, they attain what? Vishnoho Paramam Padam. Now, Muni, who is a Muni? Mananashilaha. The one who does Viveka Vairagyam Mananam. Mananam, and who has got this Vairagyam and Viveka. What is that such a Muni attain? Tat Vishnoho Paramam Padam. Now we will think, oh, Vishnoho Paramam Padam is referring to Vaikuntha. No. Because Acharya Shankara has explained many times that going to a loka does not solve the problem of samsara. It's only a break. So Vishnoho Paramam Padam is Yat Gatva Na Nivartante. Iti Nitya Paramdhama. Krishna talks about in chapter 15. No? Tadhama Paramam Mama. That is gaining self-knowledge. Self-knowledge means gaining the knowledge of the Vishnu Tattvam, which is all-pervading. Sarvam Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. So that Vishnu Tattvam, the one who has gained in terms of Atmajnanam, has gained the goal of moksha. So this is not referring to the Pauranika Vishnu imagery of Mahavishnu reclining on Seshanaga. No. That is very useful for upasana purpose. One may want to meditate on, Shantakaram, Bhujagashayanam, Padmanabham, Suresham. Very nice. But here it is talking about the moksha prapti in terms of the liberating knowledge. 86 again. Moham jahi mahamrityum dehadharasatadishu yam jitva munayo yanti tatvishno paramam padam. Now, one last shloka we'll do, simple one. 87, Acharya comes back to the gross body again and says, Tvang mam sarudhirasnayumedo majjasti sankulam. Tvang mam sarudhirasnayumedo majjasti sankulam. Purnam mutra purishabhyam sthulam nindyamidam vapuhu. Purnam mutra purishabhyam sthulam nindyamidam vapuhu. Already Acharya has mentioned the Saptadhatus. Here once again, Tvak, Mamsa, Rudhira, Snayu, Meda, Majja, Asti, Sankulam. Purnam, Mutra, Purishabhyam, Sthulam, Nindyam, Idam, Vapu. So again, we are seeing the anatomical dissection of the human body, any body for that matter, has got all these components, no? Tvak, the skin. Mamsa, flesh. Rudira. Rudira is the connecting tissue, like you can say arteries and veins. And Rudira, Snayuhu, again the flesh. Then Meda, fat, and Meda, Asti, bones, Majja, bone marrow. This is why all these are visible with the eye, or if not with the eye, with subtle instruments. Otherwise, how can the doctors do bone marrow, transplantation and heart transplantation? All this is possible. Gross body. No one can gift away organ donation is possible because all these there is a sankulam. Sankula means an aggregate, a collection of all these. But that is not it. Purnam. The body is also filled with mutra, purisha. Mutra, purisha are the excrements, the waste and the toxins eliminated by the kidneys. And this is what the sthulam is. The sthulam vapuhu, the gross body, which is nindyam. Nindya means, really it means despicable. But despicable means it is not a happy sight. So now, we can be very grateful to Ishvara for making our eyes turn outwards. So we can appreciate the whole Jagat. If we were to see what is going on inside the body, will we be happy? The liver is secreting bile juice, the kidneys are flushing out the toxins, and the impure, pure blood is entering, exiting the heart. No, no. I don't know how doctors see all this during surgeries, but it is not a happy sight at all. It is nindyam. Hmm? So Acharya mentions again the gross body for one to develop Vairagyam. That is, this cannot be you. This is functional. This is put together. These are all the karanas. So maybe have a healthy relationship with the body as a managing trustee. Take care of it through proper diet, exercise, sleep, and rest, and so on. And utilize the body for the purpose of Shravana Manana, Nididhyasnam, and eventually Moksha Prapti. And then now the next shlokas, 88, 89, and so on. Once again, Acharya brings about the Panchikaranam and Apanchikrita Tanmatras and how the physical body and the Sukshma Sharira are all formed. And how the Sthula Shariram is a Bhoga Ayatanam. Bhoga Ayatana means it is a locus. It is needed for exhausting the karma phalam. If I sprain my ankle suddenly, then that is papa karma phalam manifesting at that moment and giving the body some pain. But if through the body I get some award, some certificate, some wealth and property, then that is sukham manifesting because of punyam. So the body is needed for bhoga experiencing. And so we see how the Acharya is talking very strongly about the quality of dispassion. And he says that just as a griham, a house is made for whom? Grihastha. Yeah? Grihastha. That is the one who's going to live in it. So too, for this jiva, nature, Prakriti Ma has designed the gross body and the Sukshma Shariram, and together, and the compatible combination is going to help the jiva proceed on the jiva yatra. So, Vairagyam is understanding that I am in the house. The house is not in me. Okay, the boat is in waters, but let not the waters be in the boat, which means Tyaja, giving up the I notion, the me, my notion in the body. So next, we'll continue in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om